Hi there, Mark Victor Hansen here again, and I want to talk to you about your one, two, three, four, five freedoms. There's something you got to think about deeply, ponder, cogitate, ruminate, meditate on, because there's 5 freedoms, and unless you A, know them, B, think about them, 3, claim, and 4, aim for and declare them as yours, you can't have them. Now, the first one is creative freedom. Now, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth and the universe and all that. But point number 128 in Genesis created you and I in his likeness and image. Now, if he did all that creating and we're made in that image, that means that you and I are here for one profound reason: to create. And you have the freedom to create, but then you only want to create if you can contribute. And you only want to create and contribute if you can cash it. I mean, it's fun to create just for the sake of creation. And when you're a little kid, you create and you don't have an end game. You just want to create. I have 6 grandkids that I love, and we'll probably have 12 before the game's over. But, you know, when I'm with the grandkids, they just, anything Grampy wants to do is fun because it's new, it's different, it's exciting, it's original. But you and I are here to create freedom for ourselves. You're here to use massive creativeness. And yesterday I was on the phone with somebody. We'll go through all 5 of these and then in depth on them. I was on the phone with a great kid who said, you know, I just thought I wanted to get rich so I could just work 4 hours a week, because I read that, The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, who's a colleague. And he said, what I found out is that all you guys that claim to work 4 hours a week, that's not true. You're really doing what you love, so it doesn't work. My teacher in speech, Cabot Robert, the guy who taught me how to sell more books and tapes than anybody for a while, said, you know, in his deep Southern Mississippi accent, it ain't work if you love it. That's why I love creating all the stuff that you see behind me. So number 1 is creative freedom. Number 2, and it's a higher spiritual thing, is awareness freedom. Now, you can only have what you're aware of. One of the great wise sage teachers said, whatever I know, I can do. But that is an awareness. If you're naive and don't know that you have infinite power, you've got infinite ability, you were born with infinite genius, right? And my teacher, Buckminster Fuller, said, we're all born geniuses and we get unplugged. Our awareness gets unplugged. Quit doing that, quit asking questions, quit thinking like that. And that's why we wrote the whole book, Ask. So you go back to that wonderful childlike genius that exists in each and every one of us and just thrives and lets us do it. So number 1 is creative freedom. Number 2 is awareness freedom. You want to keep expanding your awareness. And the way you do that is you read the kind of books that I write, with self-help action books that are heart-touching, soul-penetrating stories to awaken your soul and spirit. And I'm going to introduce you to a lot of other books. If you looked at my library here, I've touched something over 50,000 books. I've read 5,000 or 6,000 biographies and autobiographies. And I'm busy writing a biography for somebody else right now, and I'll write my autobiography, Mark on Mark. So that's awareness freedom. I want to keep expanding your awareness to expand your freedom, right? And one of the ways to do that is, I say, the greatest freedom is a freedom to read widely. Remember, when despots, oligarchs, tyranny people, terrorists, the first thing they do is they burn the books, because books open up that awareness freedom, and they want to shut that down. They do censorship and close down stuff. I want to have you be open to more than you've ever been open before. Think more than you've ever thought. What did Dr. Seuss say? Oh, the thinker's a thinker could think. If a thinker could just think, thinks. Have that fun. Next is relationship freedom, the hinges of which never rust, but get deeper, more profound, more wonderful. And when I went through a painful divorce, I wrote down 267 things I needed in my ideal wife. The virtues, the values, the qualities, the characteristics. We had to have the same values. We had to spiritually be the same. She had to have her own money. I don't want somebody marrying me for my money. And all that's in the 20th anniversary issue of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I wrote my love story. But I didn't get the relationship I have in my relationship isn't a soulmate, which I thought I wanted, but it was a higher level. When you put 2 candles together, it jumps 4-fold. It's an exponential growth. She and I are twin flames. We're 2 hearts with one combined soul. We can finish a lot of each other's thoughts. We're totally like-minded. We're going in the same direction. We want more for each other than we want for ourselves. We can't even contribute enough to each other. So that's that relationship. And once you have a great personal relationship, that's self-awareness. That goes back to this second freedom. First freedom, creative awareness. Second freedom is awareness freedom. And then now relationship freedom. Once you've got freedom from the inside, then you have freedom in a great relationship where you know what the boundaries are and you make it work exquisitely, excitedly, in excellence and in joy and happiness and deep, profound love. That emanates out from you so you can have other loving relationships, work relationships, spiritual relationships, teaching relationships, mentor relationships. So you want to have creative freedom where you get to really invest your life force energy in your right livelihood, doing what you want. Number two is you want awareness freedom, which is thinking freedom, which is growing. And that's why I listen to audio tapes when I'm exercising each and every day, whether I'm walking or spinning or bodybuilding or whatever, unless somebody comes up to talk to me while I'm at the club. Creative freedom. Have you written down all the stuff that you want to create during your lifetime? If you've never written down, you want to create an invention, write it down. If you want to create a book, if you want to create poetry, if you want to create a documentary, if you want to create movies, if you want to be an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, whatever it is that you want to create great art, great music, orchestration. You want to do something that's never been done before. You get to do it. Just write it down. Creative freedom, awareness freedom, relationship freedom. Next is time freedom, right? And some of you have listened to my tape already and loved the video I did on expand time, because there is no time. Here's your watch. All of us have time, and that's why I think I collect so many watches, and I've got lots of them, because seemingly we never have enough time to do all the stuff I want to create. But then remember, I'm going to live to be 127th options for renewal, because you live as long as you expect. Because we've said in your creative freedom, you got to know what you want. You got to put it in writing. You got to visualize it to realize it. And you got to have a team together to get your dream together. Team means together, everyone accomplishes more. And so time expands or contracts based on your mental model on top of it. So time freedom. Once you're your own boss, you'll say, these are the days I'm going to work. And in my case, we color our calendar green. These are my work days. Yellow days is a clean up the messes day. Purple day is my highest day for spiritual good or private time or family time or vacation time. And when you schedule your free time first, the rest of the time gets done faster, because Parkinson's law says time expands in a project or a work assignment or that to whatever you give it. If you say it's going to take an hour, it'll take an hour. If you say, I've got to get this done in 50 minutes, you figure out how to get it done in 50 minutes. Number 5, freedom. We've said creative freedom, awareness freedom, relationship freedom, time freedom. Number 5 is the one that most people spend most of their life on, and that is money freedom. And there's lots of ways to earn money. I say in my 1 Minute Millionaire, there's a million ways to make a million. There's one right, perfect, easy, and acceptable way to you. And with all those ways to do it, just pick one. That's all that it takes. One. And you got to have fun in it. You got to thrive in it. I did lots of work early in my life, and I was a welder for a while, and I found it hateful. Not that welding is a great profession for somebody, but you'd get the crash helmet and you go like this, and now you go, I didn't like it, and it was dangerous because I was working on trucks and all kinds of stuff. My uncle is a phenomenal welder. His son is a great welder, but welding is not the right thing for me. It is not my right livelihood. My right livelihood is being an IP guy, an intellectual property guy, a guy who writes books, makes audio, does courses, teaches classes, is a YouTuber, decides what I'm going to do. That's my right livelihood. Each and every one of us has to have a right livelihood. And when you make all the money you want, you start to get money independence, money freedom. And the goal is to have your money making money, so you have self-replenishing money, and it just comes in automatically, axiomatically, more and more. And then once you got money freedom, that pays for your time freedom, gives you better relationship freedom, so you can hang out with better places, live in a better home, join a better club, meet better people. It expands your awareness because you become like the people you hang out with. Charlie Tremendous Jones says you're going to be the same person you are 5 years from now, except for the people you meet and the books you read. Now, the books you read is obviously he was in the same zone I am, self-help action books. And Jones Publishing still does a lot of books. And he did a phenomenal job taking a lot of great books, distilling them down to their esteemed essence on everything from Andrew Carnegie to Booker T. Washington to George Washington Carver to As a Man Thinketh, so you could read it in sort of a Cliff Notes. And I'm helping somebody now do one of those on my great teacher, Buckminster Fuller. So there's lots of possibility. Because once you go up and down this little hierarchy and you decide you're into creative freedom, you're into awareness freedom, you're into relationship freedom, you're into time freedom, you're into money freedom, your life grows, expand, and you start to fulfill your destiny because you have a destiny and it is great. You were born with seeds of greatness. And once you say, I am creative and I'm going to fulfill my creativity, I'm going to do stuff that I am supposed to do because you are here with a destiny. You're here, like we said in our Ask book, to fulfill your destiny. And our destiny is help you discover your destiny with the questions. And what's happened is we've done podcasts literally around the world, in Vietnam and Australia and Africa, Israel, all over Europe and all over America and Canada. In Latin America, here's what's happened is that people said, we didn't buy one book, we bought two. And we ask each other every question in the book. And we are, because we've been under this COVID stuff for a while and we've gotten in a cocoon, right? The chrysalis, of a butterfly. And what happens is the way you get out of it is ask the right questions. So you do the right thinking. So you start generating the right activity to get the right result right here, right now. And then you scale those activities, get bigger, better, stronger, hardier. And you start to serve, because what did Martin Luther King say? Everybody can be great because they can serve greatly. Now you're here to experience and express 5 freedoms so you can be great, serve greatly, because the seed has to become the plant. An acorn can't become an orange tree, can't become a kumquat. An acorn can only become an oak tree and become a mighty oak. And you're here to become a mighty oak. You're here to do something great. And I'll just finish with one little cute story. Johnny Appleseed started eating apples, canning all the seeds, grading all the seeds. Then he had his own little apple. The line that Schuler used to say is, anybody can count the seeds in an apple, but nobody can count the apples in a seed. Well, as you get these 5 freedoms, you are going to create equivalently, like Johnny Appleseed did, an apple orchard that has apple orchards. He literally went through the whole Northeast from New York to Ohio, to Kentucky to Illinois, and he planted apple trees all along the way. And Johnny Appleseed, if you haven't read his story, is a great story. It's just one guy who had a desire, who made a decision, who had a destination to make sure everybody had apples, because you and I all know the same cliche we learned when we were little kids: an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And at some levels it does. Apple is one of the great fruits that you need to have regularly. And Crystal and I have one every day as one of our nutraceutical things. It just, why not? There's no downside to it, and make sure it's a fresh, organic apple. And then I'd ask you to even use those apples. I'm going to just bonus it and say, look, I planted 250,000 trees at Yellowstone to replenish all the books that I did, because I think the whole circle of value is that I have taken and I want to give. That's called philanthropy. And a philanthropist is a lover of humanity. But I want you to take your apple seeds, save them, and then plant them, because let's build apple orchards for the people behind us. And they say, you and I are sitting in the shade of trees that we didn't plant. Let's plant some trees, some apple trees that everyone can live on. And let's increase our creative freedom, our awareness freedom, our relationship freedom, our time freedom, and our money freedom, making everyone better off and no one worse off by endorsing the fact that I am free. And Martin Luther King said, I'm free at last, thank God I'm free at last. And you can be free, but it starts in your thinking, your awareness, your desire, your determination, and then go be maximally free.